Hello everybody, this is Make It Better, and today we're doing what deku was a Ghost Whisper Part 14. Now, let's get let's get it started. After that little incident happened with with Invisible Girl and her parents, they were notified that the next group meeting for their study sessions will be in her home at this certain amount of time, which her mother is happy to be notified and to have prepared for meals for them. And her father decided to stay in for a little bit longer until he had to go back to work. Moving on to everybody else, after class, everything was good, and something's going on over in the Midoriya home. Zuko and Izumi was given some options on what to do now with their new home life. It's a little weird, to say the least. And his master told him the two options that they can do. And Zuko does not want to leave to another state to be safe because of all of his friends and someone else. And Zumi, she actually made some good friends outside over in the farmer's market and other areas. So his master said, okay, here you go. And he adds something onto their features. He started with Zumi, and Zumi actually looks good with that kind of hairstyle. Which she's happy to know that she doesn't have to live with this green anymore. Now, his master is adding on something on their hair that will give a certain glow to it, and well, it will be permanent. So it will never come off. Even if they outgrow it, it will never come off. Zuko said, can we do it like tomorrow or end of the week? And his master said, sure, but make sure no one else in social media sees you. No pictures, no videos, nothing like that. And Zuko understood this and went to school. The school day went as normal as always until he was notified in the group chat that they're meeting up over in Hakakure's home. At this time, her and Hakakure is showing the address to her home. Now, let's move on. The guys are getting there late. They were told a certain time, and well, the girls got there early because they were given a certain time. 2 different times. The girls got there, met with the family members, and got settled into ready for the study group. Hakakuri is just a little bit nervous on what her parents are gonna do to the boys, and hopefully they don't find out, but also finds out who she has a crush on. And her mother is just talking to the girls and asking about their love life, which some of them say that one of them are right now talking to someone in the group and don't want to ruin that. She asks more questions about it, and she just says his quirk is very unique. He is very bird-like and will talk on its own, as if it has its own personality in a very unique kind of way. And she just kept saying unique. Now the other girls are just talking and having fun until the guys finally come in. They knock on the door, ring the bell, of course, and they're just talking to each other. This is the only one I like compared to all the other ones I found. Zuko, Kirishima, Kaminari, Bakugo, and Tokoyami. Everybody else is just there. They come in and said, "Well, hello. We're here for the group uh, study session with Hakakuri, and I believe these are your parents." Um, well, this is what some of them say. They know it because it was Hakakuri's father that came and opened the door, and he was wearing some clothes, and they got used to Hakakuri wearing clothes and not seeing her. So that seemed like a normal reaction. He directed them to the table where they are going to study, and everything seems normal. Hakakuri is trying her best not to show who it could be, and she's talking to every other guy but one. It seems weird to everybody else, but probably she's just focused on another subject. Until when Hakakuri's mother comes in and asks if anybody wants a drink, and she was holding a pitcher of tea. She was about to pour, but she suddenly slipped out of her hand. Zuko was fast enough to grab it, hold her hand, and put it right next to it and said, "Oh, here. Are you okay?" That was a close one. And Hakakuri, well, her mother, looks at her hands and look at the kid, and then back at her hands, and then ask him, "Wait, can you see?" And she just do like a waving motion to her herself, and said, "Do you see this?" Zuko said, yes. Is that unusual?" Izuku looks down, said, "Okay, you're now a ghost." I thought I was going to make another mistake. And she said, "Well, my quirk is ghost. Young man, can you see my eyes?" And Zuko said, "Yes, I can. They're this color, just like your daughter's. And I believe your husband's color was..." And he looks over to Sashi. Oh, well, sorry, kept forgetting. Look over to the father, and he looks over, paying attention to this conversation. And when he looks eye to eye, Zuko said, "That color," which is green. No, black. He said that his color and her color. Well, now something's going on. They think to their head, this must be the boy. And they really want to test him, and they don't know how to test him, because all of these other kids are also here, and they finally decide, how about we tease them just a bit? They have nothing to lose or gain. After the study session, the group studying, everything was going well. Very fine, all good. Until the point where it would start to be dinner time, and her mother offered to make dinner for everybody. Everybody did not say no. Some of them tried to say it, but were pushed to the dining room table and have dinner. Well, they were pushed to certain seats, and Tsuyu was set right next to Tokoyami. They got those two together because they can tell. But when Hakakuri was looking for a seat to take, she found an empty spot. She took it, and Zuko was promptly pushed to that spot, right next to her. And they are just watching how Hakakuri and Midoriya is reacting to each other on that little instant, trying not to go over their line of proper space, but sometimes they do accidentally touch each other's hand, and they immediately move it away. The tension is growing higher and higher. Now, they eat their dinner after a prayer, eat their dinner, and they're starting to start a conversation. Her father asks, "So, how did you two guys meet?" Everybody assumed it was just a random question and they answer all in school. Some of them from other schools and so on and so on. And he actually said, "No, not that. I mean you two." They look and say, "Oh," and went right straight to eating their food. Hakakuri was trying to explain, well, it's like he saved, and Zuko said, "Oh, I saved her from the pointer almost getting crushed. And after that, we were in the same class. I met with her and talked." He went straight back to eating. Hakakuri is a little embarrassed and tried her best not to make it look awkward. Her parents said, "Okay, now, young man, what exactly is your quirk?" Izuku explained, "So, um, I'm, it's in the quirk papers, it's officially named quirk, Ghost Whisper. And basically, at first, I was only able to talk with ghosts and let them possess me." And he explained more about it to them, which everybody adds on, and how he been able to purify a ghost in the Dorn's changing room. Now, a few times have talked. Everybody's finished talking, and it's not very eventful meeting, as you can say. Now, everybody's finally leaving and going back home. Zuko was actually the last one to go because he needed to work on one last question and ask Hakakuri for more details. When she does and finish, everybody has already left. Zuko said, "Oh, sorry for keeping your time. Thank you for helping me with this problem, and good luck to the test." Which she said, "Yeah." And Zuko was about to leave. And, well, he saw a hand coming out of nowhere, and he promptly dodged out of the way. Her father came in and said, Wait, let me stop you." He, "Young man, you can really see this?" As he gestured to himself. He's now in boxers and a t-shirt. Zuko said, "Yes. Is there a problem, sir?" And he said, "No. Move on with your day." And Zuko says bye and leaves. Now her parents look straight to Hagakure as she's putting away her stuff and says, "So I can see why you're so interested in him before." As her father walked away, and her mother said, "So he was able to see your face and your figure," as she gave a very happy smile. And Hakakuri said, "Yes." She got used to it when every day he comes by said hi and say how pretty she looked in her new hairstyle. Now they're now talking about the birds and the bees to Hakakuri, promptly embarrassing her throughout the night until bedtime. Now, the next day comes and it's gonna be the Friday, the last day, and the exams. Everybody was coming in, normal as always, and see that Aizawa was standing there with a bunch of paper for the exam. He was about to say something, but he asked where Zuko Midori is at. And Zuko runs in and said, "Wait, I'm sorry, sir, I'm a little too late." As Aizawa, without looking, tells him to just get into your seat before the bell rings, as Zuko does. Now everybody is seeing Zuko in his new hairstyle. And they're just entranced, a little confused, but Kirishima and Bakugo likes the new hairstyle. Where he used to be, in this picture, the same, but green hair. But now it's silver. Almost a glowing silver of a color. And it's really grabbing the attention to everybody, especially Hakakuri, to a point where she is memorized by it and lost some information that Aizawa was explaining. Zuko went on with his day, with everything, and everybody wasn't allowed to talk, mostly because it was a test day and everybody needed to be quiet. After the test was done, they were promptly directed to the next area for your physical test. They do. And when they get onto the bus, they finally are able to talk about it. And they all look straight at Zuko. Zuko said, "Yeah, I expected this." What do you guys want to know? And they all asked the same question. Why did you change your hair to silver? Zuko said, "Oh, it just felt more natural. I thought it was a good time to change." And what do you guys think? Does it look good? Which some of the guys and girls actually say yes. It fits you perfectly. And even Hakakuri also add on that he looks cuter this way. Which Zuko promptly blushed and said, "Oh, thanks, Hakakuri. You look good too." He does mess up. He said what I just said. Too. Which Hakakuri said, "Oh, thank you." Now they're going on to a classified area. I forgot what it was called. Gamma, I guess. And they were standing in front of all of the teachers and Nezu. They get off the bus and they see the teachers. Now, when Nezu come out of Aizawa's scarf, they're explaining that usually they are going to be fighting against robots, but since all the villains attacks and beefing up security, that seems not plausible anymore. So from this day forward, you'll be fighting against the teachers, and each of them are going to be fighting against who? Well, in canon, basically, Hakakuri and the tail guy versus Snipe. So on and so on. Until there's two left. Zuko and Bakugo. And they ask, who are they gonna be fighting against? And they hear a big crash. A huge boom. A huge crater came by. earth was shaking, and they only hear, "I am here," which now are freaking out that they are had to go against All Might, standing before them. Now, how would this go? I'm going to keep going because this is not enough action for me, and I want to go for further. Before I go, okay, here we go. Zuko and Bakugo talked about their fighting strategy and how to prepare for this battle, which All Might is very happy that they're getting along. They didn't see he doesn't see them talk to each other often, but when he does, it seems like they're going to be good rivals that young Midoriya needs. Now, sorry, it was just my shoe. When Zuko and Bakugo are getting into the arena and the bell was rang for them to go, All Might threw a huge punch, clearing everything in that blast wave in one street, pushing Zuko, and Zuko grabbed onto Bakugo, which made him intangible to phase through all of that rubble, for they won't be flying away. Bakugo said thanks to Zuko. Zuko said no problem and signaled him to start the plan. Zuko flies over to All Might, which wasn't that far. All Might was flying straight towards Zuko as well, and Bakugo. Zuko threw a few punches, a blast, along with One for All to All Might, which is just kind of pissing him off because he's dodging each and every single punch, and Zuko can't really throw a hit. Until Bakugo comes in from behind, throw a blast from his gauntlet. After that, Zuko phased right through, for it won't affect him at all, but All Might is now directing his focus on young Bakugo, fighting against him. If Bakugo is fighting hand to hand perfectly with All Might, going on and on until Zuko came back in and actually grabbed on All Might, made him intangible and made him sink to into the ground, only where his face is showing. Zuko comes up and said, "Okay, now let's run." And when they said that, All Might said, "Well, last," and told them that nothing can stop him, as he broke through the concrete, the cement, the pavement, everything for him to be set free. Zuko said, "Okay, plan B," which Baku said, "Okay." Zuko was given a information that could be very useful. He said, "Are you sure about this?" "I have no idea what will happen." And Baku said, and nods, saying, "Just do it. We need to beat him." And Zuko said, "Okay." He turned intangible. He walked into Bakugo's body. And now Zuko is now in control with Bakugo's body and his quirk at the same time. Everybody in the screening room sees what's going on, don't know how that's happening, and they're all just saying, "Whoa. How the?" And it cut to them. Bakugo in his mind explaining everything about his quirk in far more detail and the backlash about it. And Zuko knows all of this and said, "Okay, now let's get this party started." Zuko is speaking out of Bakugo's mouth, confirming that Zuko is taking possession of Bakugo's body. Now Bakugo and Zuko is fighting together in tandem to fight against All Might. All Might is a little surprised that young Bakugo and Midoriya has come up a solid plan, but don't think it's strong enough to go against him. But he'll play along and see how this goes. Zuko throws a huge blast at All Might a few times on the right and the left, showing that he can control Bakugo's quirk. But Zuko add on to the glowing plasma around it, which just happened to be more heat added onto it. So just one explosion is enough to actually burn All Might. And it's showing on his uniform, burning right off. Which All Might sees. It said, "Young man, I see you're boosting your friend's quirk." Zuko said, "I guess so." As he start to fly, Zuko with his quirk is making Bakugo body to morph into a ghost of sort, losing his feet, not permanently, and start to fly around. Zuko is now using his quirk in tandem with explosions and fighting against All Might and going on for a few minutes. It's destroying everything in sight. When All Might is going through a wall, Zuko is just turning in tandem with Bakugo's body to fly through it, and Bakugo is just enjoying all of this, telling Zuko what else he can do to make sure this goes on. To a point where Zuko was not paying attention. He had his eyes closed, but Bakugo's eyes were open, and he moved the body as if natural, and he was able to do it. But instead of throwing a punch or a explosion, he actually threw a blast beam, almost like a swish in the air, a slash in the air, going towards All Might, which All Might promptly took the brunt of it. Zuko said, "Hey, that's my thing," as they start talking about each other. Zuko asked, "How did you do that slashing motion?" And Baku just explain it in their head, because that's the only way they can talk. Zuko takes this in and said, "Okay, here we go." As he starts moving his hands as if whips in front of him, making an X form and pushing it towards All Might, which now he found a new way to throw a long distance and bigger weight or raised area in one target. And All Might is surprised by this, but also surprised on how much of a brunt force it is pushing him. It's almost as if he's getting hit by his own punches, and it's pushing him back further into a building that somehow collapsed as well. All Might is taking all of this in and trying to punch in each and every level away for he can get out of there, and it was one of those skyscrapers. Zuko and Bakugo, with this much that was going on, decided to run, and they were in the middle, so they are running towards the goal. They know they can't defeat All Might, but they just need just a chance to get through. Zuko and Bakugo, well, they are both still together, are running, flying, going as far as close as possible, until they hear a big and a big clash, hitting Bakugo's body onto him, going all the way to the wall and seemingly unconscious. All Might talks to them both at the same time. "Young Midoriya, young Bakugo, you fought perfectly, but your opponent is me, and I never hold back on a fight." As he threw another punch at Bakugo's body, seemingly limped and looked like he knocks out. And he's just waiting for the announcement to say that All Might won, but it never came. What did came was Zuko Midoriya had passed a line. Team Zuko Midoriya and Bakugo has won this match. As All Might looks towards Zuko and sees that he is out of Bakugo's body, and Bakugo gets up. He was acting passed out, and said, "You thought I was you thought he was still inside me." That was a heavy hit, and he finally passed out. He tried to act cool, tried to say something cool, but he was just too tired to even think of something. All Might said, "Okay, you two guys, you two are well, uh, very good teamwork. I cannot say anything else." Which Zuko said, "Thanks, All Might, but I think I need to take him to Recovery Girl. That last hit seems really hard." As he laughed, saying, "Yes, yes, I did." Now going to the classroom, everybody's surprised that they won against All Might, but they're also surprised that Zuko has shown a new move. Zuko explained, "Oh, I was always able to do that. No one I knew would let me do it. So Bakugo was my first and probably last. I did not like the feeling at all." And when Bakugo finally came to class and asked about the feeling, he said it felt like swimming in jello. I could move, but I just felt another body, or soul, as you can say, in me that just felt weird. They said, "Oh, that sounds gross." Some of them said. And some of them said, "So, do you feel everything?" And Zuko said, you can say that." Zuko is holding up information that he can somehow copy their quirks, but it's not lasting long enough in his body. Now Zuko and everybody else are finally leaving the school, and they were told that they're going to go to a training camp at this amount of time for 2 weeks and have this permission slip signed, which Zuko seemed weird because his permission slip was already signed by his guardian angel, as you can say. Now, a day has passed and they're getting onto the bus and going over to the forest camp. And I'm going to stop it at that point. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy. And the time is 32 minutes and something seconds. I hope you enjoy. Have a nice day. Bye.